Hello and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host Ilene, and on this week's program, our guests discuss Limbs for You, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing orthopedic limbs and rehabilitation services for those in need, locally and in less developed countries. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Today's fashion is a reflection of how a woman feels on the inside. As someone who has spent her life in the retail fashion industry, I take pride in filling my store with an eclectic selection of beautiful fashions geared towards today's woman. Whether it be something elegant, fun, or an exclusive gaiter ensemble, we've got you covered. Personal satisfaction and friendliness like ours is a combination that's hard to find. Come to Ilene's for Fashion, where there is something for everyone.
I'm home, and I love it. I'm home, where I belong.
It's always nice to come home, but many Americans are at risk of foreclosure and losing their homes. Making home affordable from the U.S. government has already helped over 1 million struggling homeowners like these. The sooner you act, the better chance we can help you.
I'm home, where I belong.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our program. I'm pleased to introduce my guest, Dr. Michael Leslie, Associate Professor in the UF College of Journalism and Communications and Executive Director of Limbs for You. And Michael, it is wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me, Ilene.
Oh, well, it is so very impressive what you are doing. And you have recently published a book entitled Be Who You Really Are. And in that publication, you're giving advice about really making a positive difference in the lives of others. And you were truly doing that through your nonprofit, Limbs for You. So I congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And help us understand the mission of Limbs for You. What is it all about?
Well, Limbs for You is an opportunity for people who do not have limbs, who don't have the resources to purchase limbs, to be able to be fitted with those limbs, using resources that we often throw away in this country. I mean, there are a number of people who have had prosthetic limbs here who outgrow them, or maybe they're deceased, and those limbs can be put to use particularly in third world countries, right, where people suffer from limb loss. So we saw there was an opportunity for us to sort of bridge that gap and between those who need and the supply that we have here in the United States.
And so first, a great example of sustainability. You're really making use of something that others desperately need.
That's right. And it's not so much that we don't have these resources. I mean, in our lives in America, I mean, we throw away food, we throw away clothing, and some people, if a limb would make such a difference in their lives.
Exactly.
Many times, for example, in third world countries, someone who doesn't have a limb is not only not able to have a job, but is also marginalized in society. So once they're fitted, they can have an opportunity to not only make a contribution, but to get an education, to maybe be reintegrated into society.
Right, to have a quality of life.
Correct.
And tell me about your Limbs for You team, Richard Toms, and the whole inspiration that got this going.
Well, my friend, Mr. Richard Toms, was on a visit to South Africa. This goes back several years now. He had spent some time, in fact, he had relocated to South Africa to live. And on one occasion, he was visiting one of the townships, of which there are many, and he noticed that he was sitting on the bus, and he noticed a young girl, a teenage girl, get onto the bus with a coat hanger for a leg. And he was so, I think, embarrassed by the fact that we have all of these resources and that someone in the world has to walk around for a coat hanger for a leg, that he said, I'm going to do something about this. So in 2009, he founded Limbs for You, and he said that his vision was, I'm going to get together people here in this country. Particularly, he was also interested in the fact that many times the face of aid is not a minority face. Right. He wanted to make sure that he, as a minority, had an opportunity to be present somewhere else through an organization that was going to provide for good. So he incorporated, and then we started to look for, well, now who can help us out? He started going around to funeral homes. He went around to churches,
right.
And he started giving this message of, you know, is anyone here who can help?
Right.
Eventually he was led to Hanger Corporation, which is one of the largest suppliers of limbs in the United States, in fact in the world.
And they're based here?
They have, they have offices throughout the country,
okay,
but they have a local office here.
Great.
And in fact, he put me in touch with the local office here and said, why don't you, go down and ask them about how they can help. And that developed into a partnership that we now have with them, also to work locally.
All right, so in a sense, you're the conduit. You're Limbs for You. You find what you need, and then your next step is getting it to the people who need it the most.
That's right.
And how are you starting with that process?
Part of that is to, our first project is in the Dominican Republic. People ask us sometimes why we chose the Dominican Republic. Well, one of them is that it's very close to Florida, and I speak Spanish, so I can work with people there. But I think the precipitating event was the fact that we have a large population of refugees from Haiti who have suffered limb loss, who are now in the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And so the infrastructure in the Dominican Republic is sufficient so that we have make contacts with clinicians. There's a working structure that can provide the assistance to fit people with these limbs. And so we thought we could serve both Dominicans who need the help and also people from the Dominican Republic who need the help. So that's what attracted us there.
So it all fits together. You're
Yes,
making it happen. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Did you hear?
Hear what?
A group of toque macaques has invaded that darling theatre downtown.
To what?
Monkeys, for goodness sake.
Oh, my!
Yes, and now there are scientists researching them, all while a BBC film crew documents the whole thing.
We'd better get down there. It sounds like it's going to be a good time.
Come rumble in the jungle, February 23rd through March 20th at the Hippodrome Theatre during the southeastern premiere of Serendib.
Tickets available at 375 HIPP and thehip.org. All's fair in lust and war.
Rosita, did you know there's a right way to sneeze? Let's show them, Elmo. Yeah, got it. When you feel like your nose needs to give it at you, this is how you act, this is what you do. Lift your arm up high, bend it toward your face. Sneeze right there in the bendy place. Achoo! You can do it with ease. Achoo! That's the right way to sneeze. Thank you.
To learn more about preventing flu, visit flu.gov.
Nice. Yes, go! Yes! No! Come on! Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
We're back talking about Limbs for You, and I'm pleased to introduce Kimberly Ambayak, Administrative Assistant, Limbs for You. And Kimberly, pleased to have you join us and talk more about this organization.
Thank you, Eileen. It's great to be here.
Well, thank you. And what got you involved in Limbs for You?
Okay, well, I'm actually a graduate student in the College of Journalism. I'm studying international communications and hoping to get a graduate minor in nonprofit organizational leadership.
Okay.
So Dr. Leslie is actually my advisor, and at the beginning of last semester, I approached him, told him my interest in nonprofit work, at which point he told me that Limbs for You was a venture of his.
This is like, it's perfect.
Yes.
It's a great,
great
opportunity.
Way to get some great experience.
And so, okay, so you've kind of jumped in here and just firsthand, just getting everything on the way. Yes.
But I guess it's a great way to actually put into work what it is I'm learning in the classroom. So I've actually taken some classes on nonprofit work. Right,
so you can put it into play for Limbs for You and get that experience. And tell me about the website you're working on.
Okay, so Limbs for You, when they started back in 2009, of course, you know, create a website, which after I took a look at it, realized that it probably needed some help, and needed a UI. And so since then, let's see, we are trying to make it more fresh,
Good.
give it more color, and have it to really appeal to a greater demographic of people.
Right, so people really look at it, pay attention.
Yes.
Yes.
Learn. Yes.
Well, that's a real skill.
Yes, it's tough.
It's not easy. Yes.
And we've also, you know, we're also working on extending our social networks. Right now, Limbs for You has a Facebook page as well. Let's see.
And you're kind of working on more events and building that into the website too?
Yes.
Okay.
Events. We are in the process of trying to create some small fundraisers to raise small amounts to help some of these trips that Dr. Leslie and Mr. Tom's is going to be going on.
Right, so you've got the fundraising angle, the explanation of explaining it all, and for you also the logistics of making all this happen. You help with that also,
yes,
right?
It's tough being a graduate student and also trying to get the experience on top of studying, writing a thesis, but it's all well worth it. You realize that there is a lot of, I'd say, grunt work to do, but to realize that all these little steps really help and add to the bigger picture, which is helping these individuals.
Each step along the way. So you're really, truly making a difference. You're a part of something. And that's what you want to do in the future, so you'll always look back and have this grounding.
Yes.
But you did get one event, you were starting the golf tournament. Now, how did that go, and what did that lead to?
So, yes, at the beginning of, let's see, it was maybe September 2010, Dr. Leslie had partnered with another startup nonprofit organization in Gainesville.
Okay.
And unfortunately, we had several meetings, maybe 2 months worth of meetings every week to plan a golf tournament, solicited donations, looked for sponsors, one of which we fortunately got a sponsorship from Groove Shark.
Oh, great.
Yeah, which is just a great organization. Anyway, that event did not turn out for us as we hoped, and we actually had to put a stop to it. So
okay, but hey, it's a learning experience.
Exactly.
That's how you look at it.
And better yet, perfect timing at the end of 2 months of planning, and the moment we said, hey, maybe a golf fundraising event is something we can look to in the future.
Right.
We were able to focus. Limbs for You was able to focus where we needed to, and that was on an individual person who needed a limb.
Exactly. So it really led you to the most positive of all.
Yes.
Somebody you can help.
Exactly.
And have helped.
Yes. Which is a man named Eugenio Garcia.
Right.
And he is a native of Alachua County and is an individual in need of a limb. And it was perfect timing, and really, I think, solidified my entire experience with Limbs for You up to that point.
And it took you to another place, or pulled in with all of this, is Hanger Corporation, with Dr. Leslie mentioned. Now, how did that all fit? Because you visited there, I know.
Yeah. So when we found out that Eugenio was an individual we could actually be in contact with and needed our immediate help, we found out when one of his appointments at Hanger Corporation would be, and we visited, and at which we interviewed him, got to know a little bit about him, really make him feel good about us helping him.
Exactly.
That it isn't just giving him, this artificial limb, but, caring.
Exactly.
About
caring
how
him and helping him achieve
caring
a better
about how
life.
it affects, his life, essentially.
Right. So you were able to help and establish that whole groundwork, and very positive has happened since then, and we're going to hear more about that. But thank you so much for all you're doing, Kimberly, for Limbs for You, and truly you're making a difference now, and you will in the future.
Thank you.
And stay with us. We'll be right back.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone, but you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
Have you ever considered, I don't know, getting it waxed?
Waxed?
Yeah.
Bro, that's a little weird.
I don't know. Doesn't seem that weird to me.
Just keep shaving my back, okay? Oh, dude, can I get a bite?
What? With my spoon? It's disgusting.
We're back talking about Limbs for You, and I'm pleased to introduce Tommy Maple, Communications Assistant, Limbs for You. And Tommy, I'm glad you've joined us to talk more about this great organization and your involvement. And you're also a grad student at UF, right?
Yes, I am.
And what are you studying? What's your...
International Communications.
Okay.
Actually. So that's really, Limbs for You is really intersecting with all my belief systems, really.
Definitely, I can see. So once again, with Dr. Michael Leslie and then Kimberly and your expertise, it's all fitting together. It's a great opportunity for everybody. And talking about opportunity, go back to the gentleman, to what Kimberly was talking about, and tell us again a little more about Eugenio Garcia. I'm still working on that name.
We got introduced to Eugenio through Phil Kellerman and the Harvest of Hope Foundation, which is a local foundation that's done a lot of good in the world. And we're trying to just start with Eugenio. And he lost his leg to complications from diabetes. And we're not a political organization. Our only ideology is to help.
Right.
And we thought that we could really make an impact in his life.
And I think you have. And tell me a little more how that all came to pass, because you've also been to Hanger Corporation. You've seen how this is starting to come about and to develop, and enlighten us a little bit more.
Well, we have a great healthcare system in this country, but a lot of people still fall through the cracks. We really wanted to just be an advocate for people who have nowhere else to go. In this country, that turns out to be a whole lot of people. And Eugenio was not getting any help from the system. He had exhausted all of his options. And so we stepped in and we were able to communicate with Hanger Corporation, who are going to be helping us in the future. And we pretty much gave him a new lease on life in many ways. And I hope that we can continue to do that here, but then we're also going to try to expand the program and overseas.
First to the Dominican Republic, and Dr. Leslie is heading there very soon. And I know that when you think about that, what are some of the opportunities? What do you envision in thinking of helping people?
There's a lot of organizations coming from America and who are involved in outreach all across the world, and we would like to buttress those organizations with help that can really bridge the gap. We're not looking to go establish a base in those countries. We want to help empower them.
Right. Bring what they need to them, give people an opportunity to move forward in life.
Exactly.
And that's what you've already started to do. And now you've taken on the newsletter also, right, Tommy?
Yeah, that's the main fundraising pull right now, and getting people just aware of our organization, because we're just taking our baby steps here and trying to help everybody we can in front of us, but then we also have grand plans too, and it's gonna take a lot of people finding out about us.
Right, as you move farther ahead. And what are some of the ways, like with the newsletter, you're letting people know that this is an opportunity they can join in, they can make a true difference? What are some of those communications that you're establishing?
Well, I think people understand that they can give us whatever is affordable for them, and it'll go directly to helping people. There's no overhead. We have established already channels of need, and so we are going to step in and take American corporations and sort of use international links and just try to help people all across the world.
To make that happen. You know, and when we are fortunate in our life, maybe we don't realize, as Michael has said, that people are out there struggling. The story he told, you know, that started Richard Toms into this whole vision. We don't realize what people have to struggle with, and even the cost, as you're saying, of an artificial limb, an orthopedic device. And even getting them adjusted over and over. So maybe what you're providing through Limbs for You may not be the top of the line that some of us would say, this is all, I just accept the very best because that's what I can have, if indeed we have to deal with that. But then you have to, you look at what you can provide for people with what you're bringing to them, and it's just a total change in their life.
Even the
I
older
can't
model.
even think.
Yeah.
Yes, I can't even think of what it would be like to be in their situation and to have that be what's in front of me for my life, and then to be able to step in and make that change for each individual. It's for them a total miracle.
And they don't have any way to go about finding the help, and so the help really has to be brought to them.
And that's what you're doing with Limbs for You. I congratulate all of you. And thanks for joining us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We can't even put into words how grateful we are to the March of Dimes.
The March of Dimes touches us all in a lot of ways.
It really does make a difference.
We can do it if we put our hard work and effort together. We will get there.
March for Babies benefits the health of all babies, those born healthy and those who need our help to survive and thrive.
Register today and start raising money. Let's all walk together for healthier babies.
The real battle for a lot of our military and veterans is now, when military men and women undergo treatment at our Malcolm Randall VA Medical Center. Where can their families stay? Gainesville Fisher House will provide a home away from home, because a family's love is good medicine. They were there for us. Be there for them. Find out how you can support their toughest battle. GainesvilleFisherHouse.org.
Explore Florida's cattle ranching and cowboy traditions through 2 new exhibits at the Florida Museum of Natural History. Journey through time from the 16th century to modern ranching methods with Florida Cattle Ranching, 5 centuries of tradition. Witness Florida's cattle ranching heritage through the eyes of various cultures, including Seminole Indians and Spanish colonists. Then experience the grit and beauty of Florida's heartland through Florida Cowboys, Keepers of the Last Frontier, photographs by Carlton Ward Jr. Both exhibits are free, but they're only here for a short time at the Florida Museum of Natural History.
I'm home, and I love it. I'm home, where I belong.
It's always nice to come home, but many Americans are at risk of foreclosure and losing their homes. Making home affordable from the U.S. government has already helped over 1 million struggling homeowners like these. The sooner you act, the better chance we can help you.
I'm home, where I belong.
We're talking about Limbs for You with Dr. Michael Leslie. And Michael,
yes,
there's another component of Limbs for You that you're working on now, which has to do with microloans. So what's your vision on that?
Well, we think that once a person has been fitted with a limb, the important thing is to provide them with an opportunity to have a way of making a living. And so one way that this has been done in other places to provide people with a small amount of money so they can launch some kind of enterprise that would generate some capital for them. At this point, we're not certain whether the microloan would be the most effective way of doing that. We're looking at partnerships on the ground in the Dominican Republic with organizations, particularly with small business owners, that might be able to put some of the people that we fit to use.
Right. So that they have an opportunity, a work opportunity, and again start to move forward in their life. So it's not enough just to, you know, you have to sort of help the whole person.
That's right. And the most important thing is to have partnerships there. It's not as though we're going to give people money and that's going to be enough for them to sustain a life.
Right.
But if we can bring together some other individuals and organizations in this process, then I think we'll have a basis for having these people be successful after we go away.
It's a very good plan. And as you prepare to journey to the Dominican Republic, what are some of the components? You have that going on, but first of all, who's going with you?
Well, I'm taking Mr. Richard Thomas, who's the president of Limbs for You. He'll be with me. We're also taking a number of American public figures there to go for this. There's a congressman who will be on the trip. There's a small business owner also from Seattle, Washington, who will be on the trip. And on the Dominican side, we expect to have the mayor and the governor present when we arrive there. So I think we have the basis, at least the context, for developing legitimacy in the kind of work that we're doing, and also maybe persuade some other people to join us in this endeavor.
So you really have to lay the groundwork, and you're looking there for, like you said, long-term support. What about the clinicians that you need to set up?
Well, we have already identified a clinician who has identified the first recipients of the limbs.
Okay.
One of the beautiful things about this project is that we can also provide support for the clinician there in the Dominican Republic, so that they're not having to do this out of pocket.
Right.
They can, we can support them, and they can do make a contribution, if you would, to their fellow human beings in Dominican.
Exactly, but so, again, another partnership.
Correct.
That's what
Correct.
it's all pretty much about. You're laying the groundwork and getting all of these partners together.
Yes.
Yes, and in that, what are some of your goals that you see?
Well, what we're ideally, if this all works out the way that we intend for it to work out, we will have built a model in the Dominican Republic that we can transplant to South Africa, we can transplant it to Mexico, we could do it in parts of Asia. So anywhere where there's a need for limbs, Limbs for You will be able to make a contribution.
That is well said, and thank you. I'm very, I'm happy for you, excited for you that you're getting this opportunity, you're doing it, and you're taking it off the ground, and we are inviting you back to join us on the Ilene Silverman Show after your return from the Dominican Republic so that you can tell us how it all went and share some of those stories with us.
It'll be a pleasure.
Well, thank you. We look forward to that.
Thank you, Ilene.
Thanks. And thank you to all of my guests. And I'm glad you tuned in, and I hope you'll join us next week. Take